Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back to Tenerife. We've got the all-important second leg against Manchester United in order to progress in the Champions League, which was our focus for this season. So if we lose this, I don't know what I'm going to do, really, for the remainder. But we do have an away goal, so that's a start. See you in a moment. But since that loss to Manchester United, of course, which was preceded by a loss to Barcelona, which ruined the unbeaten plan in the league as well. So wasn't a great episode last time around. Probably the first time we've lost 2 games in an episode in a very long while as well. But we backed that up with a win against Almeria away at home, followed by a loss against Almeria away from home. Played them twice in a row. That was annoying. Lost in the one that probably mattered more at this point in time. Went to penalties. We won the penalties. So we are in the Spanish Cup final. It is Villarreal. There were no big teams remaining, actually, in the last 4 quote-unquote big teams. Atletico and Barcelona were knocked out in the quarterfinals. Real Madrid were actually knocked out in the 3rd round by Sevilla, who then were beaten by Vigo, I think it was. But we got Man United at home today, along with Sociedad, if we have time for it. The first division itself is back to 10 points, because I don't know what Barcelona are doing, but I think they drew the last match. So despite the fact we've lost one and drawn one in the last few fixtures, the gap's back to 10 points, as it was before we lost to Barcelona. Ravella's up to 15 assists. Merckx is up to 11. Good performances from Merckx of late, which actually sees him into favourite personnel. I just had a nosy on this a couple of moments ago. The Los Chichareros Massive are somewhat hard to please, I found, because despite all the success I've given them in the last 7 years, not in Legends yet, not in Legends, the only icon amongst personnel that have been here during my reign is Aitor Sanz, and he was already here. And already, I think, somewhere on this page at that point. Ravello's made his way on there. Sotalo's on there. He doesn't even play for us anymore. And Merckx, despite only being here for 3 years, I think, is on there. Ravella, though, well worth that spot. Well worth that spot. Very surprised not to see Quiros on here, because he was here even longer than Sotalo. A bit surprised to see Antov not on that list, although he hasn't actually played anywhere near as much as I think. There's a lot of problems with him at the moment. Played a lot in the first 2 seasons. Ignore the league appearances. He played more in cup competition, so it's over 40 appearances in the first 2. But after that, he's down to 20 starts, 11 starts, 6 starts so far this season. So Antov is very likely to leave at the end of this season. And I kind of knew that. I kind of knew one of them would go this year, Quiros and Antov, and then I knew the other one would go the following year. But we got Merckx in as a captain, and he's going nowhere. In terms of our team leaders, we're going to be okay on that front. I've done this tactically. My goal difference is exactly 500. I just saw that. And I don't want to change it now. Just to follow up on a few little things I keep mentioning, but I haven't followed up on in episodes so far. Stadium's still incoming. I don't know if that means the planning stage is over at the end of 2028, or the building will be done by the end of 2028. But we're in the planning stages now. Still coming, though. And as far as I can tell, Barcelona Stadium hasn't been increased, so that is actually Camp Nou's capacity. Question I asked last time out. And the other question I asked last time out and forgot to actually follow up on is the fact that Obregon is still at Man United after all. Never actually learned to be a left-back properly, though, apparently. I never fully trained him before he left, by the fact he is left-footed. Barely playing for them this year. Was the starter for them last year, not playing as much this year. His starting role, somewhat hilariously, usurped by our former player, Hanus. Went via Mönchengladbach, of course, but Manchester United becoming our largest recipient of former players. 2 of them directly, Gallardo and Obregon, and Hanus via another, as I just mentioned. So in theory, we should know them quite well. Why are my players so tired? This isn't good news. I think I'm just going to have tired players on the bench because the replacement options are also tired further down the list. Christensen in goal, Michaelenko at left back, Harwood, Picard, Nedalea at right back, Bermudez just not performing as well. McDonald, Ravella, Faisal, just had to double check that one. Grealish, also Lean's going to start on their right side. I think Merckx took a knock last time he played anyway, so returning to fitness regardless. Maxi Gomez up front. The only concern is Michaelenko's lack of match fitness, which is slightly odd because he has played games. His individual instructions, move into channels, suit his player trait, moves into channels. Well, that's helpful then, isn't it? I think because Manchester United don't recognise Obregon as a left-back, which is what he actually is, that's why they're not playing him. Maybe Rossi's better than him as well, that they are playing for left-back. But in fact, Hanus isn't going to play for them today. Zuma is going to play it right back again. I'm aware he can do it, but it just feels wrong. That form, I don't like it when it's put out like that. Yeah, we won a game 4-0 just to go into this match, so morale should be back up a little bit, but I don't like it. Why? Why Zuma at right back over actual right backs? The worst part is, I said it last time, and they still murdered me in the last game, but their left back is a centre back as well. Good news is though, Felipe's been injured straight off the front. Kind of realised possibly what my mistake was last match when I was doing the editing for it. That was, of course, I told him to go play down the wings, which evidently is not our strong suit, even though they are playing two centre backs at fullback. I wanted to exploit that, but perhaps that changed the way we play. Can you get to that ball, please? Thank you. Blimey. Perhaps that changed the way that we play too much, and that actually was more of a detriment to us than it was to them. And of course, their fullbacks are still going to be they're still going to be good tacklers as fullbacks. So defensively, maybe trying that was wrong. And Jack Grealish has scored against his former club. Actually, of course, we got Grealish from them when they acquired Ansu Fati. So Man United not playing any of our former players currently. We are playing theirs, and he has scored. Hilariously, I think he has just mugged off Zuma. He has. So we can exploit those quote-unquote weaker fullbacks just naturally. Grealish already with 4 key passes. Like to see that. Ravella's well over 200 at this point, by the way. Ravella is now double the next person. It's either Grealish or Merckx. I think it's Grealish is that second at the moment. He has caught up in terms of percentage-wise. The gap in total has strengthened. Ravella's on about 250 at this point. Grealish is on about 125. It's about 50% now. Like I say, the percentage is closed up, even if the total number hasn't. 1-0 half-time, which is 50% of what we need. PSG, I think, need to overturn something against Bayern Munich in the other leg as well. So far, both of the home teams getting part of what they need. I can't remember what that game ended as, the previous one. Wish I was an easy way of seeing it. Because it does on the full leg, I think I need to encourage at this point. Yeah, so encourage because it does the entire leg, which we are 1 goal down on. So can't praise them just by the fact they're 1-0 up in this game. Although nothing is happening now. Game, can we... Oh, for Christ's sake. Michael Lanko has just untired himself somehow. Must have got injured. Right, we're going to release Merckx on them for the last 20 minutes. I'm going to play Faisal to the end here because he's actually on international duty next for some reason. Oh, we don't have any spare strikers at the moment, do I? Because they're both injured, the backups. Hang on. I just need to see how good Maicon Douglas is as a striker because he can play it. So can Merckx, actually. He has 8 finishing. He is not doing that. Merckx finishing is 13. Like, this is a weird situation. I don't know what to do here because the players that are playing well are the ones that are tired. Again, I'm going to freshen up right back. Bermudez is on. I'm going to freshen left back now for the last 4 minutes. Ravella. Oh. Back to Ravella. Faisal's there. Oh my God, he's hit the bar. There are 4 minutes to go and we've hit the bar. And that's it. That's going to be it because I can't change anything else other than speed things up. And oh my God, there's a last second highlight. Merckx. We score now. We're through. Bermudez. Got it to Merckx. I don't know what's happening here. Bermudez in space. Bermudez of all people. I don't know how it's gone in. It's his first goal of the season. And this is how he does it. Gives it, like, he's got this chance there. Who does it hit? It clearly hits someone on its way through. And in the most unbelievable of fashions, we're through. British with 8 key passes in the end of that game. Although, Merckx with the keyest of all. I need to watch the goal again. I need to watch it again. We actually didn't deserve the first leg one, but PSG needed 3 goals to even up that one. They got 2. 8 million. By the way, the Tenerife to Man United thing could have been worse. I mentioned there were bids for players. Both the bids for Dimas Lopez and Picard were from Manchester United. They're both laughable, which is why they're still with us. But they went after 2 further players of ours. Yeah, Faisal is inexplicably on international duty in the middle of a season. It's not like his African Cup of Nations, which he is a part of. Well, I think he was actually part of that this year or the year before. I mean, we can get through the match without them, unless there's any further ones, which happens at times. I think what's actually happened here is the match against Real Sociedad has been moved into an international window, rather than the other way around. I'm just trying to see, we play them on the 21st. Okay, so a bunch of people go the day after. Just making sure there weren't any further backup choices. City do it on Barcelona, and Juventus need extra time to deal with Porto. Dybala's still there 7 years in. Dybala's one of those players that's not as young as I think he is, so he might be like 33 now or something like that, 32, 33. That's quite impressive that he's still there. All right, so it's the double draw for the Champions League. Quarterfinals first. Dortmund get Inter, which means we are left with a terrifying prospect guaranteed. Because I think Inter might be the only team, possibly other than Chelsea, that are behind us in the world rankings. And we have to deal with Liverpool. Chelsea get Manchester City and Juventus get Bayern Munich. It's very much a big boys quarterfinals. There's no so-called weaker team sneaking through here. None of them are going to be easy. Theoretically easier. Juventus or Bayern versus Liverpool or ourselves. So it's Dortmund or Inter, which is probably the one I would have preferred. versus Chelsea or City. Chelsea in the group stages, Manchester United in the first knockout round, Liverpool in the quarterfinals. It was almost on the wall, though. We were going to get Chelsea or Man City there, really, I suppose. But we dodge an English side in the semis if we get past Liverpool. Easier said than done. So yeah, gotta get through Pep Guardiola's Liverpool first, which is horrific when you look at their team there. Alisson still in goal. There's a new gen defender alongside a 36-year-old Van Dijk who is available at the end of the year. Don't really need another defender, but could be interesting. Halibert left back, Trent still a right back, Rice in there, Castillo, Vlasic, Lee Kangin, Shafino. You may remember him. He was the one who scored a couple of goals against us at AC Milan. He's insane. And Haaland, of course, up front is even worse. For us, I mean, 5 stars. It's only 26. No matter what save I'm doing, Haaland goes to Liverpool, apparently. As much as I would have liked this to be a nice little neat one-match game, considering how that panned out, there weren't a great deal of highlights, so I suspect it would have been a very, very short episode without a second game. So, Real Sociedad match will be here in some capacity. I'll work out how much in editing, but I'll go sort out this team. Okay, for the best conditioned first 11, we're going to have to go with Christensen in goal. Michaelenko retains his left-back spot because Tenorio is on international. Harwood, Picard, Bermudez. McDonald and Valverde. We're going to have to be without Ravella temporarily. For the first part of this match, Ferreira can start Ducadin and Orsolini. Alves up front. Actually, Merckx is fully fine. Merckx can play. Alvarez is good for 45 minutes. Gomez wasn't at full conditioning, so that might work out. It might be a swap at half-time there. Okay, so whilst we're getting going in this game, I'll just fully announce my beta saves here on the YouTube videos as well. I've already announced them on Twitter. The link for my Twitter is in the descriptions as always, /TheAmazingChi. But I will be playing as Newcastle here on YouTube and as Hanover 96 on Twitch for the beta saves. Can't read the names. But yeah, I fully announced those with graphics on Twitter. So if you want to keep up to date with all that's going on with my content and just general opinions on football and other things, they sneak in sometimes. That's the place to go. Particularly helpful to know when I go live, of course, particularly on Twitch. So follow me over there. Will always be helpful. Well, I'm just saying that. Like, comment, subscribe on this video. We're close to 300. We're close to 300 subscribers, so that'll be nice. Just to get over that milestone before FM22. Only 7 more to go. So if you haven't done already and you are enjoying this, do hit that follow button, subscribe button, whatever it is here on YouTube. I know how this works. Merckx has already scored. Ducadin with the assist. I quite like Ducadin develop it. Dimas Lopez is what I was going to play Dimas Lopez in this game, actually. I recalled him from his B team commitments and he got injured, so that went well. Merckx has got a second. This time it's Michaelenko with the assist. Yeah, you get to see some goals now. More goals. Yeah, like I say, I'm not sure how much of this Sociedad game will remain after the edit. I will try to keep this brief. It's Alex Ramiro at Sociedad to begin with. Mikel Merino definitely is, as is Oyarzabal. Neither of those have moved. Lenormand's definitely there as well, I think. Sociedad surprisingly unchanged as a team in 7 years, I feel. As Bermudez nicks it off Oyarzabal, that doesn't go particularly well, but Zubimendi hits it straight at Picard's face, and Merckx can now counter. If Alves is on side, this would be a great goal. Not a goal. Dini's corner wasn't particularly good, but we are still threatening. Valverde's in a spot of space. Doesn't get it to anyone, and Marino can counter. Counter's still on here. The counter is still on for them, actually. Hang on. They get a shot off, but it's not good. Crisis averted. That's their first actual shot. Poor clearance. Valverde's intercepted. He's got a chance. He's gone for himself, actually, there. I was expecting him to put a through ball to his person on his right-hand side there, but he didn't. Got excited over nothing. Elizondo to Lopez. A lot of highlights in this game. Far more than the Man United one. Irritatingly, from an editor's perspective. Oyarzabal in space. Scores. Very surprised he hasn't moved. Actually, very highly rated in real life. Very highly rated in FM, actually. Which is why I'm surprised he hasn't moved. Great ball, though. Great move. Great movement. Yeah, the way Oyarzabal just peels off here is quite nice. Stays onside. Lets the defender inexplicably commit to nothing. They're playing this from the back, which hasn't gone well for them so far, as Bermudez gets on that. Gone back to Valverde, and they've got a chance to sort of recover defensively. That is interesting. It says he hits a 30-yard ball to Ducadin. I don't know how intentional it was, but Michaelenko now can get it to Merckx for a hat-trick, and it's a hat-trick of headers for Hugo Merckx. It's a hat-trick of headers. Unbelievable. Michaelenko. Well, I mean, it's identical to the second goal, isn't it? It's Michaelenko cross, Merckx header. Well, certainly bringing up his goal tally for the season a little bit more. I've talked about recently how he's sort of output-wise gone down over the last couple of years. Okay, Sociedad moving this around relatively nicely. Don't know if we're actually going to intercept this or not. We aren't. Oyarzabal done exactly the same bloody thing. We just copied and pasted the last 2 goals. I could have put the same clips in. I'm actually just very tempted to edit the same 2 clips in from the previous 2 goals for these 2 goals. At least Oyarzabal put it on a different corner this time, but he's done exactly the same movement from exactly the same assist. Yeah, they have scored with their only 2 shots on target because Football Manager. Apparently, they're playing quite well in general. Like, the goalie's on a 7. There's 4 of the players are with a 7 or above. Yeah, they're the ones losing currently with only 2 shots on target, full stop. Dugadin with 1 assist is still below a 7. A few people getting a bit tired though. Naturally, we'll take McDonald off. Bruno Alves shouldn't have been on this pitch for this long anyway. I just remembered. I'll give Kaiser a few minutes in the middle as well. So we're going to actually make a triple substitution because this highlight didn't end whilst I was making those changes. The Oyarzabal, oh, De Grack is in all the space. What's gone on here? We're before an international break, so I don't mind playing the good players for as long as possible. But they've equalised. Defensively, I don't know how that's happened. Christian was having such a good year in terms of conceding goals or not conceding goals. He's conceded 3 against Man United and he's conceded 3 against Sociedad here. What are we doing, team? Come on. Well, they've had a shot on target which hasn't gone in at some point. Just point that out. We have broken the game. They are actually able to have a shot which doesn't go in. That's infuriating. Well, that's an annoyingly arranged set of games, isn't it? We're not openly focused on the league as things stand now. Liverpool both legs. Liverpool both legs. I'll see you for those very soon. I know there's an Atletico game in between them, but like I say, we're not focused on that. Although I could do Liverpool and Atletico and then Liverpool and Villarreal. Just kind of depend on how that first leg goes anyway, I suppose. But at least one Liverpool leg next time out. The Liverpool with Haaland and Shafino at the front. Oh, it's a terrifying prospect. It's not going to be done in one leg, that's for damn sure. I'll see you for that very soon. Ta-ra.